You can get tons of options for a 1911 handgun if you just set your ceiling to $2,000. I know, the inflation is a pain in the buttocks, but fortunately, the 1911 market remains generous to every buyer out there, regardless of their budget size. Hey, this is Scott from Line 45, and today I'm going to list some of the best 1911 pistols I know that you can get for $2,000 or less. But first, let me do this quick plug. Hit the like and subscribe button, all those buttons you can see below. I know it feels like a hassle, but those simple clicks mean a lot for my channel. Now, let's get back to the good stuff. Dan Wesson Heritage. The Heritage is Dan Wesson's entry-level 1911, and you can get this one at around $1,500 or so. For its price, the Heritage has a lot of value to offer to its buyers, but on the flip side, you shouldn't expect extra flashy or over-the-top features on this pistol. It doesn't fancy grips or forward-cocking serrations, which is just fair for its price. The reason it's an excellent gun is because it's a Dan Wesson 1911 to the core. This means that it was manufactured under the same tolerances and quality control. The structural quality of the Heritage is more or less the same as the DWX, and arguably, I consider this as one of the most well-crafted 1911 for its cost. A lot of its parts are hand-fitted, which is a huge plus, and the materials used on them are basically solid steel. It's the government model 1911, and this gives the Heritage the ability to offer predictable accuracy and a comfortable shooting experience. It also has a match-grade barrel, and its barrel bushing doesn't even need any tool to be dismounted. The gun also benefits from the fact that it uses the traditional recoil guide and not the usual full-length guide rod. It improves the reliability and simplicity of the Heritage as a bare-bone 1911 pistol. It's also worth noting that this 1911 isn't too chunky, despite being a government model. It's only 0.8 inches wide, which makes a full grip a possibility even for shooters with small hands. Paired with its rubber Hogue grips, you're up for a good time in the range. You'll appreciate the lowered and flared ejection port of the Heritage, as well as the dovetailed front and rear sights on its flat-top slide. Its trigger is refined. It's smooth, perfect, and consistent at 4 pounds, which ensures accurate shot placements. Kimber Rapide Scorpius. At a price of around $1,800, the Kimber Rapide Scorpius is anything but low-key. I mean, by just taking a look at this gun, it's already clear that it wanted to be a head-turner. The sides are mirror-finished, and the design details, along with its matte black coating, are close to what I consider tactical. But sure, that's fine. After all, the Rapide Scorpius is a great iteration of what a high-value 1911 pistol should be. This single-action, semi-auto pistol has a capacity of 8+1 rounds for its 45 ACP variant. It weighs a little over 2 pounds and measures 8.5 inches long, while its barrel is flat 5 inches. It's big and hefty, but that makes it a rapid shooter. Its heavy construction reduces its recoil, and less recoil means faster, accurate follow-ups every single time. Aside from being an aesthetically imposing firearm, the Rapide Scorpius is also built for speed. Proof of that is how its stainless steel slide glides on its rails smoothly. At the same time, I couldn't spot any unwanted movements of its moving parts. Based on this alone, this 1911 from Kimber offers a quality that is better than most production 1911s. The same slide has ports cut into the sides and top, while its rear and front are striking for its deeply scalloped cocking serrations. But of course, these intricacies on its slide aren't just for show. They ensure a positive operation, which enhances your ability to manipulate the gun efficiently. There's also its flared magwell, aggressive grip texture, and a crisp trigger that helps the pistol to be as shootable as possible, especially in high-stress situations. But these aren't the only good features for the Rapide Scorpius. The ambidextrous safety, in particular, is quite easy to manipulate. You see, it's not too big and not too small either. Even its 3-dot sights are nothing to be scoffed at. It yields effortless and clear sight pictures, and this contributes a lot to the tightness of its shots. Gunsight GSP. The Gunsight service pistol is a prolific 1911 handgun that you can get for a price of $1,600 or so. It's a fighting 1911 based on the specs given by Jeff Cooper himself. Its design is distinct, to say the least, with its use of a forged frame and slide, and it's also notable how it uses Series 70-style internals. Now, I don't want the nerd in me to bore you out, but the specs of this gun are actually the specs of the 1911 that Browning had in mind. You can't even see an internal firing pin safety in the GSP. Now, its 5-inch hammer-forged match-grade barrel comes with a recessed target crown and a bushing that I can confidently say is well-fitted. Then, it also integrates these awesome springs, which consist of a 21-pound mainspring and an 18-pound recoil spring, to guarantee that the GSP operates with utmost reliability across different ammo velocities and bullet weights. The GSP also features a Wilson Combat Battle Sight rear, which is then paired with a tritium-powered luminescent green front night sight. These sights are Novak-style dovetailed. The gist here is that the sights are low-profile and combat-oriented. The rear sight, in particular, is angled to reduce the chances of snagging during a draw. Dovetail mounting also allows the GP to offer precise adjustments in the sights, so more or less you can guarantee precision and quickness in acquiring targets. This is one of the reasons why I mentioned that the GSP is a fighting gun. In addition to that, this 1911 features the G10 Super Scoop grip panels, Wilson Combat Tactical Thumb Safety, undercut trigger guard, and extended beavertail grip safety. If it's not obvious, these aspects of the gun make it extremely comfortable to shoot. They're tactile and well-placed, and taking into account its skeletonized match trigger, the GSP operates and fires positively. Springfield Armory 1911 TRP. What I can seriously appreciate about the 1911 TRP series is that their most expensive models only have an MSRP of $2,000. They offer a sweet deal, considering that the 1911 TRP on its own bridges the gap between production line and custom-made 1911 guns. Just this 2024 alone, Springfield added 6 new models for the TRP, including the 4.25-inch TRP Classic, the 5-inch TRP in FDE, and the 5-inch TRP Classic with no rail. If I'm correct, there are already 9 of these TRP pistols, and each of them is worth bagging, depending on what your intended uses are. But let's take the standard full-size 1911 TRP as an example here. It has a 5-inch barrel, usually offering a capacity of 7 to 8 rounds of 45 ACP, depending on the model. It's also built to be durable, as it commonly uses forged stainless steel or carbon steel. It's really damn tough, and its integral parts are hand-fitted for tight tolerances. The 1911 TRP is also known for its classic ergonomics, such as an extended thumb safety, a beavertail grip safety, and a checkered front strap. These 3 components alone make this pistol very comfortable to shoot, even if it's your first time using it. The natural point of aim is also beneficial for both seasoned and amateur shooters. Its trigger is also exceptional for its price. Across different models, I think that pull weight averages at 4 pounds, and that becomes more impressive as the trigger is unforgivingly consistent. This trigger has a minimal take-up, that's the first I noticed, and its brakes are clean, while the resets are crisp and short. Yeah. This is an ideal trigger for an ideal 1911 handgun. The pistol also sports front and rear serrations on its slide and on top, which are the 3-dot tritium sights that boast a familiar sight picture. These sights are serrated, by the way, and they're very easy to pick up. When the TRP shoots, it's darn good. It doesn't have to be a full-size TRP to give you that impression. It cycles different 45 ACP ammo quite well, and at 25 yards, it's capable of sub-2-inch groupings. Dan Wesson Valor. I started this list with a Dan Wesson, so I thought that it would be nice to cap it with another Dan Wesson. But this time, I am going to feature the Valor, which is just a little north of $1,800, but you can definitely buy one without exceeding $2,000. The Valor is one of the nicest 8-round, 45 ACP 1911 pistols you'll ever own. It's clean-looking, somewhat reminiscent of the original 1911 appearance. It has a superb finish and craftsmanship, while the materials used on its parts are all durable. With its price, it's a far stretch to consider it as a top-tier or premium 1911, but I also have to tell you that most of its parts are hand-fitted and feature tight tolerances. You can't spot any play at all, especially on its slide-to-frame fit, and despite its tightness, the slide still cycles like it's riding on grease, thanks to its recoil spring. So why is this gun not as expensive as other custom-grade 1911s? Well, the reason for that is that Dan Wesson didn't make all of its parts. For example, its mainspring housings, barrel bushings, and grip safeties were taken from other companies like Heine and Ed Brown, just to name a few. But Dan Wesson is picky enough to scrutinize which parts will not ruin its reputation. Meanwhile, the rest of the parts, such as its thumb safety, hammer, and sear, are all made by the folks of Dan Wesson. Both the frame and slide are crafted from forged stainless steel, with the frame sporting a notable 25 LPI checkering on its front and back, plus an undercut trigger guard and an extended beaver tail. Since this is a Series 70 pistol, It has no firing pin block, but it includes grip safety and thumb safety. Its trigger, on the other hand, breaks at 4 pounds with minimal pre-travel but zero creep. This helps a lot in ensuring that the gun is accurate regardless of the ammo you use. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Just press all the buttons. Those little clicks are free, but they help the channel a lot. Stay sharp, stay safe, and remember, it's not just about the shot, it's about mastering the craft. Until next time, lock and load. Lock and load.